Israeli forces are zeroing in on militant targets in southern Gaza. This is the latest video released by the IDF, set to show its troops during a raid of a refugee camp. They say they captured Hamas fighters and uncovered tunnel shafts and rocket launchers. Palestinian paramedics raced to the scene of an airstrike in Khan Yunis. Israeli warplanes have also been conducting raids in that area. The Hamas-run health ministry says at least 150 people have been killed in the last day. Journalist Trent Murray is following the day's key developments for us. He now joins us from Tel Aviv. So Trent, thank you for joining us. Let's start away from the battlefield if we can, because you're hearing that there may be movement on two fronts. So the talks concerning a ceasefire and hostage exchange, and then also the possibility of international aid coming by sea in the future. So what can you tell us on these two fronts?
Yeah, that's right, Hillary. We are hearing more signals coming out of Cairo this afternoon around those discussions between leaders of Hamas, other Palestinian factions, and also the Israelis regarding this three-phase plan that the Egyptians are putting forward to try and bring an end to the conflict. It would start with a ceasefire on the ground in exchange for Israeli hostages being released. We did hear from Benjamin Netanyahu, who was asked about this in a press conference. He said that there may be some movement there, but he also stressed he didn't want to build up any unrealistic expectations, but it does come as pressure grows on him domestically from the families of some of those hostages to try and get them home. We're also tracking, crucially, some developments regarding the delivery of aid. In the past few hours, the Israeli Foreign Minister Eli Cohen has signalled that a plan that has been put forward by Cyprus could begin immediately. Now, what we're talking about here is aid being loaded onto ships in the Cypriot port of Larnaca and then ferried 360 kilometres by sea to the shores of Gaza. Now, if that plan was to go ahead, it would mark the first time the Israelis would have lifted a naval blockade, which has been in place on Gaza since 2007. Crucially, the Foreign Minister has said that there are several countries that possess the ships to be able to land directly on the shores of Gaza. It doesn't have a deep sea port, and he has dismissed any idea that Israel would allow its ports to be used, saying that Israel is trying to disengage from its civilian commitments within Gaza as it pushes forward in its military operation.
Trent, right from the start, when all of this got underway, there were fears about the potential for this war to escalate into the wider region, and we're certainly seeing some of that today. Another merchant ship using the Red Sea has come under attack from Yemen-based rebels who support Hamas. What more do we know at this point?
Yeah, that's right. A pretty significant flashpoint on the Red Sea, once again reminding us of just how volatile the situation is there. The US Navy is saying it was responding to a distress signal from a large container vessel operated by the Danish firm Maersk, one of the biggest shipping companies in the world. Now, they say that 4 boats operated by the Houthis tried to hijack that vessel and board it. In response, helicopters were dispatched from the USS Eisenhower aircraft carrier, which is currently in the region. Those helicopters then opened fire on those vessels, sinking 3 of the small boats, and killing the militants on board. The 4th vessel was able to get away. Now, the shipping company has said it's suspending traffic once again in the region. It only started traversing those waters in the past week after that US-led naval operation began to try and shore up those shipping lines. But we are seeing that there is increased concern around the fact that even with that US naval presence, the Houthis don't seem to be backing off on these types of attacks on civilian ships. There are reports tonight coming out of the Times of London that the UK and US is now considering launching airstrikes on Houthi positions within Yemen. If that was to go ahead, it would mark a significant escalation within this wider conflict in the region.
Trent, thank you for the updates. We do appreciate this. Trent Murray for us in Tel Aviv.